Don in London, hello, it's July 18th, 2009. My video is all about recovery. That's recovery from addiction to substance or behaviour. My favourite substance of addiction was alcohol. My behaviour, trying to be perfect, workaholic. I look back now and I know for 35 years I never worked regular hours. Some days were very long hours indeed, maybe 12 to 14. And for what reason? What reason motivated me to work so hard? I guess because I wanted money and material things and to look right. And what I've learned over the last few years in recovery, one day at a time, from alcohol addiction and behavioural addiction, comes out sideways, as we say. If you're not feeding the one addiction you think you have, another one will crop up, and that can be food, you name it, behaviour, doing outlandish things. So if we don't understand what is going on, and we need to change our attitude and behaviour, we have to find some sort of sanctuary to do that. And for me, the sanctuary to find out who I am on a daily basis has been provided by AA. That's Alcoholics Anonymous. So I'm jolly lucky, I feel, to have understood what the AA program is all about. That it has 12 steps of action for me to take on a daily basis, or to utilise what is called the toolkit, the steps of attitude and behavioural change, which keep me ticking along soberly, or as best I can be, against recovery from alcohol and also the associated behaviours with it. So yeah, just sober today, that's all I can say really. But more about me and AA. I go to AA meetings, but I don't speak for AA, never can, never will. I speak about my recovery and how AA has helped me. That's Alcoholics Anonymous. And at the beginning of every meeting I go to, and I hope always to go to a meeting as often as I can, because I experience strength and hope from unique, authentic people. And I like and love unique, authentic people. So that gives me plenty of scope, because the whole world is full of unique, authentic people who are just making their way one day at a time. And some people get it and some people don't. And for 35 years, I guess I was in the wilderness, trying to actually do my best and making progress to a place where it just was detrimental to my lifestyle, or you name it. Anything that associated me with booze was going to make me less than I could be. And the irony was, all that time booze was my backstop. It was the thing that took the edge off. It could be my best friend. It could make me very happy and it could make me very sad. What I didn't realise was you could do all these things without it. And we are led up the garden path sometimes by our own understanding or perception, or what we have learned from other people. And I had a good teacher than my father who had this malady as well. So there you go. I don't blame him, and I said to him when he was dying that I loved him, and that was an absolute genuine feeling of love for my father. And at the same time, his behaviour over the years had been appalling. And I realised about 8 or 9 years after his death that I was heading exactly the same way, to be very isolated, unapproachable, not easy to befriend at all. And if it hadn't been for that moment of clarity where I said to myself, I cannot do this on my own, that was the breakthrough, if you like. I cannot do it on my own, and I need help. And the gift really for me is I did get help, and I'm now sober one day at a time. So AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, we are just a bunch of ordinary people with a particular, I suppose, common aim, which is just sobriety a day at a time. And this is what is contained in the statement or preamble said at every meeting, and it goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So in that last statement there, my primary purpose is to share my experience, strength and hope on a daily basis, almost every day, and to help where I can. I can't do it in person, but I can share and encourage a way forward. And my way forward involved family, community, society, professional people who knew what it was to be an addict, although they weren't addicts themselves, and a fellowship where addiction was the major reason for being there. So that one sentence, primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety, and we all do it in different ways. And sometimes it's just by turning up to a meeting and being there and just listening, because our presence means that we are part of something, and that we're not trying to isolate, we're not trying to be anything but whatever we can be on one day. So I feel I'm jolly lucky on a daily basis if I can get to meetings. And yesterday the weather was appalling. On Thursday night I came back absolutely sodden from riding the bike in the rain, and it was one of those sort of rainstorms you never want to really be in. It's nice to look at when it's happening, but when you're actually cycling along and you know you're not that visible to cars, it's a bit of a nightmare. So I decided yesterday, as I was heading out, when the rain started to tumble down yet again, I would stay home. So as a consequence, I think and feel I could do with 2 meetings today, just to get my head straight. And also, I'm very much finding my way forward on my own, which I think is okay right now. I've realised I need to be freestanding to develop my own way of looking at the world and finding out who I am. And I guess for a little while I was not being who I was, or the person I could be. So at the moment, my triumvirate things to deal with, alcohol, clinical depression and type 1 diabetes, we're doing all right. Me? Well, yes, me, I'm doing all right. And I share here books or readings, if you like, from As Bill Sees It, co-founder of AA, and also the Daily Reflections, this book, Daily Reflections, 1 page a day. The Bill one you can read as much as you like until you feel absolutely happy to be sober, I guess, or maybe the other way, get to a meeting, and the 12 steps and 12 traditions. And it's not a very thick book. You can actually read one of the steps and one of the traditions probably in 10 to 20 minutes. And the slower we read it, the more it sinks in, I feel. So I try and slow myself down on these videos, because I try to share so much in 10 minutes. It's often too much, and it's already 7 minutes into this video. Daily reflections for today, and that's July 18th again. Grateful for what I have. During this process of learning more about humility, the most profound result of all was the change in our attitude toward God, or in my case, God, good conscience, or a higher power of my choosing. And I tend to believe that it's good conscience, and that God, if there is one, works through other people, and if we can listen to the right people, we get the right message. So today my prayers consist mostly of saying thank you to my higher power for my sobriety and for the wonder of God's abundance, and I call that nature and providence. But I need to ask also for help and the power to carry this out. His will for me. I no longer need God each minute to rescue me from the situations I get myself into by not doing His will. Now my gratitude seems to be directly linked to humility. As long as I have the humility to be grateful for what I have, God, good conscience, or your higher power, continues to provide for me. And do you know, we can be very self-willed, self-obsessed to the point of seeing the world only as we see it and not as other people see it. And that applies to relationships as well, where we can be single-minded of purpose, how it ought to be and what I'm entitled to do. And the worst thing I've found is that we can be taken for granted, that we're always the backstop rather than the first stop. And you know what? That is a dreadful feeling of hurt when that happens, and that's happened to me a bit over the last few months. So I'd rather not be a backstop, always there in the background to support. If I'm a backstop, I'm not a first stop. I'd like to be somewhere stopping in the middle where there's balance. And when there's no balance or understanding or whatever we're looking for, we need to actually get back to the serenity prayer and accept and forgive where everything is today. So coming towards the end of this video, to your God, my God, good conscience, whatever higher power is working for you, and for me it's the collective good of humanity. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, hopefully just for today, and get a bit of balance in there.